Virginia. We're here this afternoon getting ready to get kicked off with our Prospect Steer and Heifer Show. We're going to start off with Prospect Steers. We've got 4 classes of Prospect Steers. Class number 1 is entering the ring, led off by Carter Evers from Augusta County, calf weighing 495. Carter's followed by Brooklyn Clark with her calf weighing 513. Next is Emily Hammer with her calf weighing 525. Followed by Maddie Evers from Augusta County, calf weighing 533. Next is Jack Bagoon from Augusta County, calf weighing 543. Followed by Diesel Hit from Orange County, calf weighing 555. And finally, Caitlin Lutz from Shenandoah County, calf weighing 558. Again, this is Class 1 Prospect Steers, ranging in weight from 495 to 558. Again, as far as the schedule of events today, we're starting with Prospect Steers. We will then move to the Prospect Heifer Show. That will be followed by the Commercial Heifer Show. And finally, we will have the AOB Registered Heifer Show after that. Again, Prospect Steers, Prospect Heifers, Commercial Heifers, and AOB Registered Heifers is the lineup for the shows today. Lead line and costume, which will now be in the beef show ring, will take place 30 minutes after the conclusion of the AOB Heifer Show. Again, lead line and costume will take place here in the beef ring 30 minutes after the conclusion of the AOB Heifer Show. Again, we want to welcome our judge, Christy Gable from North Central Colorado. Christy went to Butler and K-State, where she competed on the livestock judging teams and majored in animal science. She then went to work for Zoetis for a number of years in the animal health industry before returning to her family's feedlot in Colorado, Magnum Feed Yard, where they market over close to 80,000 head of fed cattle a year and also have close to 500 head herd of commercial cow-calf. And we're very lucky to have Christy here with us this weekend. If you would, give her a round of applause for coming all the way from Colorado. Again, we want to thank Mandy Rooker Photography. Mandy's in the show ring capturing photos from today's events. We also want to thank Sydney with Showbarn Flicks for being here and live streaming the event.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the cattle show here. It's a very nice place to start as we get into our prospect steer show. And to me, I think that prospect steers are very challenging to sort, and I think that they're challenging because everything's at a different stage of maturity, and even though they might be relatively close in terms of weight, just where they're at as an individual animal to their obviously maturity and growth pattern is very different. So I think that we also have to read some future into these things and kind of project and predict how they might feed. And there's some guesswork involved in that. So I actually think it's very close between these two, and I think it comes down to some very little nitpicky things for me that give me the nod here to this solid black steer to go ahead and win this particular class. I think one that I just really appreciate and enjoy how flawless he is just in terms of his skeletal build. Really long-necked, really extended steer that's level in terms of his design. The two places that I prefer him over the black and white steer that's in second is the way that he opens up a little bit bolder and more genuine right into his forerib. And then I think that he's a bigger footed steer that's just slightly more comfortable in terms of his rear pastern. Particularly when she gets that steer out on the move, I think he sets down just a little bit more genuine, a little bit more comfortably. Now, that's not to say that he's the widest and the most powerful and the squarest in his hind leg as he goes away, because I think of the pair, the black and white steer probably is the bolder-chested steer that reads with some more muscle shape, particularly as you study him out of his pins, particularly there through his stifle and as he goes away. There's no question that he is wider and he does have more muscle. For me, though, he just comes in a few more pieces today. That steer is maybe a little bit more full just in terms of body fill than our class winner, and I think that might accentuate some of the areas in which I want to watch this steer, particularly the way that he transitions from his shoulder back into his forerib. I think he's just a touch flatter right there at the base of his forerib, and then as he goes away and two, it might just be fighting the halter ever so slightly, but I think he's just a little bit sharper there in those pasterns and off of his rear skeleton than the steer that wins this particular class. Really nice pair. I think those are going to be fun feeding projects for those two ladies as we continue on throughout the rest of the fall and into the spring. Gray steer that comes out next is one that again, I think just in terms of muscle shape, he's going to be really exciting. That's going to be a fun project for her to feed. Good in terms of feet and leg structure. For me out here, wants to get just a little bit rounder, particularly as you study him from hooks to pins and the way that he gets out of his hip and hind leg as he transitions out here. As that young lady feeds him and he blends together, I certainly think he'll relax and be more comfortable. But today we just want to get a little bit rounder in terms of our skeleton than the two on the top side of this particular set. Really long-bodied calf that the young man's got out here that comes in fourth. Really level in terms of the top side of his skeleton. Very comfortable in terms of his structure. One that in terms of just genuine muscle shape and mass and body, you got some questions on, and we're going to have to feed some of that shape into him as he continues to mature. Really shapely and expressive steer that comes next. Young lady does a nice job with him. Really, really powerful as you study him out of his upper hip, but from there as he transitions down, he really gets flatter there through the base of his stifle. Wants to get just a little bit more uneven in his top line as he goes as well. Hereford steer is nice and practical, probably doesn't have just the mass and power that the steers on the top side of this particular set do. And then the black steer that's going to round out the class. He's got some interesting pieces, but unfortunately for him, those pieces don't really balance together at this stage of the game. A little more uncoordinated and uncomfortable off of his rear skeleton, and for this size and just maturity, those are things that we certainly have to question. Put our hands together for a very nice set here as we start our prospect steer show.
Congratulations goes to Maddie Evers from Augusta County with the first place entry in Class 1. In second place was Carter Evers, also from Augusta County. In third place, we had Brooklyn Clark from Shenandoah County. In fourth place, Jack Bagoon from Augusta County. In fifth place, Emily Hammer from Rockingham County. In sixth place, Diesel Hitt from Orange County. And in seventh place, Caitlin Lutz from Shenandoah County. Entering the ring now is Prospect Steers Class 2. There are 6 entries in this class, led off by McKinley Bergeron from Pittsylvania County, calf weighing 560. McKinley's followed by Aubrey Herbers from Pennsylvania County, calf weighing 593. Next is Hayden Rubush from Augusta County, calf weighing 598. Followed by Bailey Wright from Shenandoah County, calf weighing 609. Bailey's followed by Allie Edwards from Culpeper, steer weighing 626. And finally, Montana Deming from Augusta County, steer weighing 627. Again, this is Prospect Steers Class 2, ranging in weight from 560 to 627. There are several folks and businesses that help make this weekend possible, and we want to take a moment and recognize our beef show sponsors. We want to thank the Clark family, Tim, Gretchen, Gordon, and Suter Clark, for donating the showmanship banners. We want to thank MC Livestock, the McCall family, for sponsoring the showmanship rally towels. We want to thank Point Pleasant Farm, Kurt and Jennifer Friedel, for being showmanship champion sponsors. We also want to thank Montgomery Farm Bureau, the Rockingham Feeder Cattle Association, Spring Lake Livestock, the Heifers family, Sheer Point Farm, Nick and Courtney Belcher, Country Crossroads Vet Service, Dr. Francis Grubb, Virginia Cattlemen's Association, Blue Ridge Cattlemen's Association, the Blue Ridge Animal Clinic, Glen Mary Farms, the Nixon family, Springwood Livestock Management Services, Dr. Andy Meadows, Woods Farms, the Woods family, sponsoring the AOB Breeding Heifer Awards, the Virginia Simmental and Junior Simmental Associations for sponsoring the Simmental Breeding Heifer Awards, the Virginia Junior Angus Association sponsoring the Angus Breeding Heifer Awards, the Virginia Junior Hereford Association sponsoring the Hereford Breeding Heifer Awards, and 2K Farm, the Talbert family. We also want to thank our partners for this weekend's event, the State Fair of Virginia, Virginia Farm Bureau, Virginia Cooperative Extension, Virginia Youth Animal Science Program, Virginia Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services, Farm Credit of the Virginias, First Bank and Trust, and the Bank of Botetourt Ag Lending Division. Again, this is Class 2 of 4 in our Prospect Steer Show.
Again, I think a very solid place to start here as we move into our next class. And this yellow, maybe butterscotch colored steer has a lot of really nice pieces. I think he wins this class relatively handily for me. Just one that in terms of balance and skeletal correctness and appropriate muscle shape for his stage of maturity, I think he combines an awful lot of very nice pieces. As he continues to mature and just get more comfortable on the halter, I'm sure he'll settle down and relax there in those rear pasterns. That's a very nice place to start. Then I think that you got to read some things and understand kind of the bigger picture of what we're looking for here as we move into second and third, because just big picture, you got to ask yourself, does the second place steer have enough stoutness, have enough bone, have enough feature and natural dimension? And I asked the young lady, I said, hey, is he a purebred? Like, are we going to get registration papers on him? Because if you just look at him, he looks like a purebred Angus. And sure enough, that's what he is. And so, therefore, you say, okay, well, it makes sense that maybe he's not as big featured and maybe not as overwhelmingly powerful. But I think just in terms of genuine skeletal correctness, he does some really nice things for a purebred Angus steer. That is a smooth-shouldered, really long-fronted steer that's long and level in terms of his skeletal build. One that I like in terms of the way he handles his pastern today. Hopefully, he doesn't get any softer in terms of that rear pastern, because we have plenty of flex and cushion there right now. As the steer continues to mature, obviously that muscle and that stoutness and feature will come. I like the pieces of his skeletal build today more comfortably than the red steer that comes out next. Obviously, in terms of width and dimension and body shape and muscle, the red steer has more, as you would expect as he's a crossbred compared to a purebred Angus. This steer also does some really nice things. He's very stout and powerful as you study him from hooks to pins. He reads you he hits you with a lot of dimension as he goes away from you. Maybe today still just kind of fighting the halter a little bit, maybe still some pieces of immaturity as he goes. We need to get relaxed and more comfortable off of our rear skeleton and maybe blend a little bit smoother on the top side of our shoulder and where it ties into our spine. Black and white steer that comes next, or maybe more so the white-footed steer. Front 2/3 of him, I think, are really nice. He's really attractive there, the way that his neck ties into his shoulder. I think he's good and genuine in terms of full rib shape. As we move on from there, I've got some questions just in terms of how we manage our top line. He wants to get just a little bit weak behind his shoulder, maybe a touch rounder out of his hip and slightly more uncoordinated off of his rear skeleton as he goes. Really, really moderate and powerful steer that comes next. I think a steer that's got a lot of muscle, really, really big featured, especially for this stage of maturity. Maybe doesn't blend all of those pieces together quite yet. Maybe comes in some 3 different pieces, if you will. But again, just in terms of power and muscle and shape and dimension, I think this young lady's got a nice project. Really long-bodied and extended steer that's going to round out this particular set, and he's really big and bold in terms of his muscle shape, particularly out of his hip. Just one longer term, I have some concerns in terms of his genuine body shape. He wants to get just a little bit harsher in the way that he's built through his forerib and his flank. A little bit rounder as you study him in all facets. But again, I think a really nice class. Let's put our hands together for the top end of that particular group.
Congratulations, your Class 2 winner, McKinley Bergeron from Pennsylvania County. In second place, Aubrey Herbers, also from Pennsylvania County. In third place, we have Bailey Wright from Shenandoah County. In fourth place, Hayden Rubush from Augusta County. In fifth place, Allie Edwards from Culpeper. And in sixth place, Montana Deming from Augusta County. Moving right along into Class 3 of our Prospect Steer Show, we've also got 6 entries in this class, led off by Jacob Newton from Stafford County, steer weighing 650. Jacob's followed by Ava Hernandez from Loudoun County, steer weighing 655. Ava's followed by Cameron Grant from Caroline County, steer weighing 694. Next is Jonas Hitt from Orange, steer weighing 705. Followed by Hannah Heifers from Washington County, steer weighing 711. And finally, Emily Stanford from Loudoun County, steer weighing 744. Again, this is Class 3 out of 4 Prospect steers, ranging in weight from 650 to 744. Again, we want to thank and recognize all the folks that helped make this the show this weekend possible. We've got a great crew here at the Beef Show helping us out. In the ring, we've got Sam Leach, Rockingham County 4-H agent. We've got Miss Shirley Kaufman, ag teacher and FFA advisor from Buffalo Gap High School. We've also got Michaela Talley from junior at West Virginia University, used to show here not too long ago. With our lineup crew, we've got Megan Sheets, a Rockbridge County 4-H agent, and Chad Joins from the Virginia Tech School of Animal Sciences. We've got Ashley Cron up here helping with our awards. She's a Augusta County 4-H educator. And my name's Brandon Reeves, for those of you who I haven't had the chance to meet before, and I work at Virginia Cattlemen's Association.
Y'all, I've got one sweet little girl over here that's the only one clapping. So I'm going to have you start off clapping again, and then everybody's going to follow your lead, okay? So let's give them a big round of applause one more time. Thank you. Thank you. Nice place to start here with the solid black steer. I think one, just in terms of body shape and moderation and balance, I'm most comfortable landing on him is the place to start. He maybe is a little bit plainer as you study him at the base of his chest, and maybe not quite as overwhelming just in terms of muscle shape through his rear stifle as some that we've seen, but I think just very practical, nice, balanced, sound structured steer that's going to be a nice feeding project for the young lady. Man, I really hope this is a purebred Hereford steer because he's got some really, really cool parts and pieces, if so. One that needs to be softened up ever so slightly, just the way he's built through his center body. Again, that's just a stage of maturity thing, and I'm certain that he'll soften up. You want to talk about just genuine muscle shape and mass and dimension for a Hereford. That thing's got a ton of shape, and maybe that's something that at least the Heifers where I come from maybe don't have that much muscle shape, so that's exciting to see. Very, very powerful, stout-footed, heavy-boned, big-featured dude that's going to have a bright future for that young lady. Another really nice kind of soft-bodied steer that comes out next, one that you really have to appreciate just in terms of his front end and the way that his neck ties into the top side of his shoulder nice and comfortably. He's a good-bodied steer that's nice and uniform in terms of his underline. Maybe doesn't have as much feature as the steers on the top side of this class in terms of the way that he's built from the hock down and the size of his foot circumference. Maybe needs to get a bit stouter there, but again, I think he'll be a nice practical feeding project for her. Cool colored blue roan steer that comes out next, one that's really long and extended, obviously going to offer a lot of growth. Young man's going to have a big feeding project on his hands. He's a little bit harsher bodied type. If you get enough flesh and just softness into that steer, I think he could mature into a really nice one. We're going to have to watch the way that our shoulder's built as well, but I think some promising things in him. Really nice red and white steer also that comes next. Good in terms of his muscle shape and his hip dimension. 1-2 that we're going to have to watch just in terms of our skeletal build, particularly the way he's constructed up through that front shoulder. We're already just a little upright, and we're going to have to manage that throughout the feeding cycle. Young man's got a big high-performing steer that comes out next. One, I'm not exactly sure what we're doing in terms of a feeding program, but we're going to have to increase the energy for him because I think he's got some nice pieces. We're just a little too skinny at this stage of the game, so if we can increase some of our just caloric intake to that one, I think that'll help him a bunch. Let's put our hands together for these exhibitors on a nice third class.
Congratulations goes to your Class 3 winner, Emily Stanford from Loudoun County. In second place, Hannah Heifers from Washington County. In third, Ava Hernandez from Loudoun County. In fourth, Jonas Hitt from Orange. In fifth, Jacob Newton from Stafford. And in sixth, Cameron Grant from Caroline County. We're going to move right into our last class of prospect steers, class number 4. We've only got 3 entries in this class, led off by Wyatt Haney from Fluvanna, steer weighing 823. Wyatt's followed by Michaela McPherson from Chesapeake City, steer weighing 846. And rounding out the class will be Emma Newton from Stafford County, steer weighing 905. Again, this is our last class of prospect steers. Following this class, we'll be bringing back our class winners to select our champion and reserve champion prospect steer. At the conclusion of the prospect steer show, we will take a quick break to grab a picture with our judge, and then we'll move right into the prospect heifer show.
Only 3 here in this particular class, but again, I think some nice practical options that are going to be nice projects for these kids throughout this summer. I think the black and white steer, again, just in terms of balance and skeletal quality, is probably the place where we need to start. He's the one that I feel the most confident in just in terms of the way he's built through his center body. I think that's going to be an easier feeding steer that's just going to get softer as he continues to mature. Could be a little bit stouter footed, right, as we continue to go, but I think that will come with maturity. Young man does a nice job with him. Obviously, some additional growth and performance here in the yellow steer that comes next. Probably more genuine and honest in his muscle shape at this stage of the game as well. That added growth comes with a little bit of a sacrifice because as I study him, I just question just his softness of body. He's a little bit harsher there through his full rib, particularly back through his flank, and then he wants to study just a touch rounder off of his rear skeleton when compared to our class winner. Black and white steer that's going to round out this particular set, again, I think is good in terms of chest width and body shape. And muscle shape that he lays on the top side of his body. For me, wants to get just a little bit plainer, particularly as you study him through his front third, one that's just going to be a little rounder and harsher as he continues to move throughout the feeding phase. Let's put our hands together for these kids. It's a really nice prospect steer show.
Congratulations, your Class 4 winner is Wyatt Haney from Fluvanna County. In second place, we've got Emma Newton from Stafford. And in third, Michaela McPherson from Chesapeake City. We're now going to bring back our class winners from each of our 4 class prospect steer classes. From Class 1, we've got Maddie Evers from Augusta County, steer weighing 533. From Class 2, we've got McKinley Bergeron from Pittsylvania County, steer weighing 560. From Class 3, we've got Emily Stanford from Loudoun County, steer weighing 744. And from Class 4, Wyatt Haney from Fluvanna County, steer weighing 823. We're also going to bring into the ring our second place winners from each of those 4 classes. From Class 1 in second place, we have Carter Evers from Augusta County, steer weighing 495. From Class 2, we have Aubrey Herbers from Pittsylvania County, steer weighing 593. From Class 3, we've got Hannah Heifers from Washington County, steer weighing 711. And from Class 4, Emma Newton from Stafford County, steer weighing 905. Again, this is the final drive for your prospect steer show. Our judge, Ms. Christy Gable, will be selecting your champion and reserve champion prospect steer. Again, as a reminder, you cannot take animals out of the barn or leave the fairgrounds until the conclusion of the sale of champions this evening. At the conclusion of the sale of champions, there will be an early release, but only for those who do not show on Sunday. Any livestock that are still on the grounds at 7 a.m. on Sunday morning must remain until the 2 p.m. release time.
Those of you around the ring, if you would, please put your hands together here for our exhibitor showing in our champion drive of the Prospect Steer Show. Really a fun, neat show at a state fair. I'm from Colorado, obviously, and I wish that we had a prospect show at our state fair. I think it's a fun opportunity to get some of these younger calves out. I'm not sure if you guys are planning on feeding these steers for the entire feeding period, or maybe going to consign them to a sale, or what exactly our goals are. But it's just it's a neat opportunity to have some of these calves broken at an early age, and be able to exhibit them on a cool platform. So kudos to the Virginia State Fair for offering a program like this. Not all state fairs do. I'm not going to go back through and, yeah, let's give them a round of applause for that. I like it. I'm not going to go back through and really describe all these cattle. I know that we have a handful of shows to get through today, but I think that you can see some consistencies here with the lineup, just in terms of cattle that are built right, just in terms of their skeleton. They're long, they're extended. I think they're genuine in terms of their forerib and center body shape. They read with plenty of muscle shape for this stage of development. Obviously, there's some differences in terms of maturity patterns and maybe exactly where they're at in terms of mass and muscularity at this stage of the game, but very sound structured, good-bodied, good balanced feeding projects for all of these exhibitors. So my kudos and congratulations to you all. I'll set the mic down and go show you the two that are my favorite. Let's put our hands together one more time.
Congratulations. Your champion prospect steer comes out of Class 1, exhibited by Maddie Evers from Augusta County. Congratulations, Maddie. And replacing Maddie in line will be Carter Evers, also from Augusta County, with her second place entry from that class, weighing 495. And congratulations, your reserve champion prospect steer goes to Carter Evers from Augusta County. Congratulations, exhibitors, on a great prospect steer show. Let's give them all a round of applause. We will be taking, I think, a quick break to grab pictures, and then we'll circle back here in just a couple of minutes with the Prospect Heifer Show. right, folks, we're about to get ready and get started with our Prospect Heifer show. We've got 4 classes of Prospect Heifers. And we've got 4 entries in our first class. First into the ring, we've got Natalie Helsley from Shenandoah County, heifer weighing 405. Natalie's followed by Hayden Rubush from Augusta County, heifer weighing 472. Next is Carly Thomas from Washington County, heifer weighing 474. And finally, Colt Thomas from Washington County, heifer weighing 478. Again, 4 entries in this Prospect Heifer Class 1, ranging in weight from 405 to 478.
Very nice class as we transition into our Prospect Heifer Show. And again, like I said with the steers, I'll reiterate again as we talk Prospect Heifers. There's so many differences at this stage of the game, and just their end goals are different, and their stages of maturity are different. So you really have to read a little bit of future into some of these things as you're here kind of going through in your brain what the most logical thing to do is. I like this maybe smoky colored. I don't know if she's Charlet influenced or exactly what her pedigree would be. Today, I like her quite a bit. I think she's got some nice things in terms of class advantages, chest width. She's got some dimension there through her forerib. She's a wide-topped female that reads with some extra width and dimension as you study her out of her pins. One that obviously you can tell is still a little immature and getting used to the halter breaking process, wants to get just a little uncomfortable off of her rear skeleton as she goes. But I think just in terms of body dimension and center body, she excels this class. You really like a lot of things about this heifer that comes out in second as she's standing still. Just in terms of length of body and femininity and length of front end, she does an awful lot of things really, really well. And maybe you could make the argument that just she strikes you as slightly more maternal in her build to our class winner in terms of just levelness of hip and the way that she's built through her center body. For me at this stage, she just doesn't have enough in terms of chest width. She doesn't have enough in terms of forerib shape. Probably in this class, she's the lightest muscled. I can tell you maybe the emphasis that I put on just true muscularity, particularly in these young cattle. But I do think we're going to have to watch her just to make sure she gets enough genuine dimension, because today she's a little too skinny in terms of her power and shape as you study her off of her rear skeleton. She's got some very intriguing pieces, though, and I think that'll be a fun project for this young man. Certainly back to muscle shape and dimension, you like a lot of things that come in the heifer that's in third. That's a pretty neat package. She's really round-bodied and reads with some muscle shape. With that, she's a little piecey today and maybe doesn't blend all of those pieces together, particularly as you study her back through her rear flank and the way that she travels out of her rear skeleton. As we conclude the class, the young lady does a nice job. She's got arguably the smallest heifer out here, although she's really nice in terms of her body shape. She's got big feet. She's stout-boned and big-featured from that perspective. Again, today, all of those parts and pieces maybe just don't blend together and fit together quite as comfortably. She gets pretty round as you study her off of her rear skeleton as well. Let's put our hands together. I think that's a challenging class here in our Prospect Heifer Show as we get started.
Congratulations goes to your Class 1 winner, Natalie Helsley from Shenandoah County. In second place, we have Colt Thomas from Washington County. In third place, Carly Thomas from Washington County. And in fourth place, Hayden Rubush from Augusta. We're going to move right into Class 2 of our Prospect Heifer Show. Leading off the class, we've got Tucker Talley from Augusta County, heifer weighing 505. Tucker's followed by Jacob Jenkins from Warren County, heifer weighing 507. Next is Sadie Talley from Augusta County, heifer weighing 521. Sadie's followed by Isaac Heifers from Washington County, heifer weighing 534. Next is Emma Alexander from Louisa County, heifer weighing 536. And finally, Montana Deming from Augusta County, heifer weighing 592. Again, this is Class 2 Prospect Heifers. All heifers are 5 weights. Again, we do want to welcome and recognize our judge, Ms. Christy Gable, for being with us all the way from North Central Colorado. Christy went to Butler and K-State, where she competed on the livestock judging teams and majored in animal science. Christy then went to work for Zoetis for a number of years in animal health before returning to her family's farm and feedlot, Magnum Feed Yard in Colorado, where they market almost 80,000 fed cattle per year. As the Heifers are circling the ring, we do want to thank our partners for this weekend's event: the State Fair of Virginia, Virginia Farm Bureau, Virginia Cooperative Extension, Virginia Youth Animal Science Program, Virginia Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services, Farm Credit of the Virginias, First Bank and Trust, and the Bank of Botetourt Ag Lending Division.
I don't know if you guys were here last night in the cattle show and showmanship. I talked about, I really like evaluating cattle on the move. I think that it's the most genuine way to be able to evaluate their skeletal correctness and the structural correctness. And I think that the really good ones get even better when they're on the move, because you've got such good showmen here in Virginia. I think sometimes when they're standing still, they could be maneuvered with just a little bit to kind of make some of the things that maybe are naturally there disappear because you've got such good showmen. But those are things that you can't hide when these cattle are on the move. And I think that's a telltale sign here in this particular class. This heifer that starts this class, I think there's an awful lot of really good parts and pieces to her. I like a lot of things about her, but I particularly just love this heifer when this guy just lets her get out and lets her take a long, comfortable, fluid stride, because she is so sound. She is so good the way that she handles her rear skeleton when she gets out and goes. Her top line blends together. She stays nice and relaxed. Her body uniformity is very, very good. I like the way that her neck ties into the top side of her shoulder. We're going to have to watch her shoulder. We're going to have to manage that as she continues to mature, because she's got plenty of muscle and is somewhat bigger shouldered at this stage of the game. But I think there's an awful lot of quality in her, and that's a very nice place to start. The heifer that comes in second, I think, most closely follows just the type and kind of the heifer that wins this particular class, but maybe doesn't do so with maybe quite as much femininity, particularly as you study her up through her front third. We're a little bit shorter necked and come with a little bit more chest, particularly at this stage of the game. That's a piece that we're going to have to manage on her as she continues to mature. Beautiful in terms of her center body depth, and really attractive and feminine off of her rear skeleton. Another very maternal female that comes out next in terms of her performance and her length of body and her center skeleton. Compared to the heifers on the top side of this particular set, she's quite a bit frailer just in terms of her feet and her bone work. I would like to stouten her up there ever so slightly and just kind of change the angle to her hind leg. But again, I think just a lot of beautiful parts and pieces to this particular female. I think she's going to be a fun one to feed on for this young lady. Black heifer that comes out next, maybe the word that strikes me about her is probably the opposite of maternal, right? She's very stout, she's very powerful, she's big-footed, she's big-legged, she looks very powerful. And with that, we've got some concerns just in terms of the way she puts her joint work together, maybe a little coarser jointed at this stage of the game and doesn't blend her skeleton together as smooth and as comfortable as some of the females on the top side of this particular set. Really nice Hereford influence female that comes next. One, again, that's really long-bodied. She's really long-hipped. She sounds structured, a little bit frailer and compared to some of the heifers on the top side of this particular set, and doesn't blend together in terms of maybe her lower body quite as well as a few. She's a little bit harsher there in the angle, and just the way that she ties in there to her full rib, wants to get just a little bit shallower back to that flank and needs to sit down on a bigger foot. Heifer that comes next, front 2/3 of her, very nice. Wants to get just a little bit rounder and a little bit plainer everywhere you study her. She comes maybe a little bit bigger shouldered at the base of her shoulder than some at this stage of the game. And then as that heifer goes, she really wants to drop her pin set and get a little bit rounder off of her rear skeleton as she exits the ring. Let's put our hands together for these kids. It's a really nice class.
Congratulations goes to Tucker Talley from Augusta County for winning Class 2 of the Prospect Heifer Show. In second place was Sadie Talley from Augusta County. In third, we've got Emma Alexander from Louisa. In fourth place, Jacob Jenkins from Warren County. In fifth place, Isaac Heifers from Washington County. And in sixth place, Montana Deming from Augusta County. We're going to move into our biggest class of Prospect Heifers, Class 3. We've got 7 entries in this class. All these heifers are weighing between 619 and 648. First into the ring, we've got Caitlin Lutz from Shenandoah County with her heifer weighing 619. Next is Aubrey Herbers from Pennsylvania County, heifer weighing 625. Followed by Leighton Lilly from Rockbridge County, heifer weighing 629. Next is Taylor Mitchell from Essex County, heifer weighing 638. Followed by Caden Harris from Augusta County, heifer weighing 640. Caden's followed by Jacob Jenkins from Augusta County, heifer weighing 648. And rounding out the class is Michaela McPherson from Chesapeake City, heifer weighing 648. Again, this is Class 3 Prospect Heifers. Again, as these heifers are lined up, we want to thank our beef show sponsors for helping make this weekend possible for our exhibitors. We want to thank the Clark family, Tim, Gretchen, Gordon, and Suter Clark for sponsoring the showmanship banners. We want to thank MC Livestock, the McCall family, for once again sponsoring the showmanship rally towels that were given to our exhibitors yesterday. We want to thank Point Pleasant Farm, Kurt and Jennifer Friedel, for being showmanship champion sponsors. We also want to thank Montgomery Farm Bureau, the Rockingham Feeder Cattle Association, Spring Lake Livestock, the Heifers family, Shearpoint Farm, Nick and Courtney Belcher, Country Crossroads Vet Service, Dr. Francis Grubb, Virginia Cattlemen's Association, Blue Ridge Cattlemen's Association, Blue Ridge Animal Clinic, Glen Mary Farms, the Nixon family, Springwood Livestock Management Services, Dr. Andy Meadows, Woods Farm, the Woods family, Virginia Simmental and Junior Simmental Associations, Virginia Junior Angus Association, Virginia Junior Hereford Association, and 2K Farm, the Talbert family. Let's give a round of applause for our sponsors.
And we got a pair of really, really high-quality females on the top side of this particular class. This young lady doesn't know it yet, but she and I are going to work out a really nice deal, and I'm going to take that heifer home with me to Colorado because I think that she is really, really nice, and she's going to be just an exceptional breeding piece for this young lady. Just beautiful and flawless and maternal and in tremendously high quality. I think is we're looking for females, particularly prospect females. This is what you want them to look like, right? Just very fresh. She kind of looks like a little cow, but she looks like one that's still immature. She's really good-footed, good in terms of her bone work and her skeleton. She's beautiful in the way that her neck ties in, just really smooth, really attractive. Her best look for me is when she gets out and goes really comfortably. There's a lot of high-quality pieces about her. That's certainly not to take anything away from the heifer that comes out in second, because the vast majority of the things that I said about our class winner can be said about her. She's beautiful in terms of her center body, very high quality female, one that is, you compare her directly to the heifer in front of her, not quite as long bodied, not quite as long necked, and at this stage of the game today, I think she's just a little full, and as a result of that, she's maybe not handling her rear skeleton quite as comfortably. We want to get just a little bit outside of our skeleton as we're traveling away as we go, but tremendously high quality two females there on the top side of this set. The Baldy heifer that comes next certainly is very, very high quality in her own right. Maybe doesn't hit you with the same pieces of just maternal character as the two on that side. She is jam-packed full of muscle. Again, another really big-footed heifer that just has tremendous shape and expression of volume and muscle. Need to blend all of those pieces together a little bit more comfortably and maybe lay that tail head in just a little smoother, but a lot of quality pieces in her. Female that comes next, again, is really long-bodied. She's long-hipped. She's got some nice pieces of balance. She wants to get just a touch deeper right there in her chest. I want to clean that heifer up in her navel and relax her off of her rear pasterns as she goes. White-bellied Baldy heifer that comes next. Again, she's good in terms of her center body and her practicality, one that reads just a little bit plainer to some of the heifers on the top side of this particular set, and I certainly want to give her a shot more bone and feature. The two females that round out this particular set are heifers that are nice and practical. They just need to be softened up, given a shot more balance here for the show ring, but I think a really nice class here in our Prospect Heifer Show. If we could show our appreciation for these kiddos bringing us some really nice females.
Congratulations goes to Aubrey Herbers from Pittsylvania County on her Class 3 winner. In second place, we've got Caden Harris from Augusta County. In third, Jacob Jenkins, also from Augusta County. In fourth place, Caitlin Lutz from Shenandoah County. In fifth place, Michaela McPherson from Chesapeake City. In sixth place, Taylor Mitchell from Essex County. And in seventh place, Leighton Lilly from Rockbridge County. We're now moving into our last class of Prospect Heifers, Class 4. There will be 5 entries in this class, led off by Levi McDaniel from Greene County, heifer weighing 683. Next is Chloe Gardner from Essex, heifer weighing 701. Followed by Madison Stratton from Appomattox, heifer weighing 715. Next is Sadie Wood from Rockingham County, heifer weighing 717. And finally, another entry from Chloe Gardner from Essex County, heifer weighing 717. Again, this is Class 4 Prospect Heifers, ranging in weight from 683 to 717. At the conclusion of this class, we will bring back our class winners to select our champion and reserve champion Prospect Heifer. We'll then take a break to grab some pictures and then move right into our commercial crossbred heifer show, followed by the AOB show. So again, once we wrap up this Prospect Heifer show, we'll move into the commercial heifer show, followed by the AOB show. A couple other housekeeping things. The lead line and costume contest will now be in the beef show ring this year, and it will take place 30 minutes after the conclusion of the AOB Heifer Show. Again, lead line and costume will take place in the beef ring 30 minutes after the conclusion of the AOB Heifer Show. And as a reminder, exhibitors cannot take animals out of the barn or leave the fairgrounds until the conclusion of the sale of champions this evening. At the conclusion of the sale of champions, there will be an early release for those exhibitors who do not show on Sunday. Any livestock on the grounds at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning must remain on the grounds until the 2 o'clock release time in the afternoon.
I just had a fun little short conversation with some spectators that I'm assuming probably don't come from livestock production. And I'm sure that there's a lot of people here at this show that are just here to kind of take in the state fair and the sights and the sounds. And I think it's really important that those of us who do come from livestock production or particularly are showing animals here feel comfortable having conversations and answering questions and being approachable and ready and willing to explain why we're doing what we're doing. They asked me, why are we scratching their bellies? Like, what are they doing? Do these cattle like being out here? Number one, these are just babies, okay? So we have to remember they're fighting the halter a little bit, and they're kind of dancing around, maybe not quite as broke or as comfortable as some of the bigger cattle that we see. Most of these cattle are 3, 4, 5, 6 months old at most, right? So they're just getting used to the halter breaking process. They're just getting used to the show ring. I can promise you that the life of a show cow is so much more glamorous than most all of us probably provide for ourselves. They get the highest quality feed. They get the highest quality fans and barns and bedding. And I can promise you that this young lady that won this class, I just made an example, she spent way more time working on this calf's hair this morning and giving her a bath and blowing her out and fitting her than she did herself by 10 times more. So just the effort and the management that they put into this is next level. But feel free, like if you guys don't understand why we're doing what we're doing or what's happening, find somebody who's out here showing or find somebody in the barn and ask those questions and truly try to understand why we're doing this project and what the point is and what the purpose is and all of those things, because this is such an impactful project, not just for the kids, but also for you consumers to understand, hey, like these cows at the end of the day impact the food that you eat, right? And that's not always an easy correlation to make, but it is so true, right? These females are going to be generators of offspring that ultimately ends up on your table if you're beef eaters, which all of you should be beef eaters. And I need a loud cheer for eating beef and hamburgers and steaks and all those things, because at the end of the day, that's what we're all here for, right? So anyway, have those conversations, and kids, make sure that you're approachable and answer those questions if anybody has those, because it's so important that we close the gap between production and consumers, because we're all on the same page here. Beautiful heifer to go ahead and win this class. Big-bodied, really feminine and attractive, really good in terms of her rear skeletal build. A female that wants to get just a little bit easy right behind her shoulder, but as she continues to mature, I'm sure that she'll tighten up there. Beautiful place to start. Young man does a really nice job with the heifer that comes out next. If you want to talk about just dimension, width of top, and power and production, I think she brings a lot of nice, high-quality things to the table in terms of width of pin and how wide she stays and how genuine she is off of her rear skeleton as she travels. Female that comes out in third next, a bald-faced heifer that the young man with the nice felt hat has, I think is one that's really high-performing and really long-bodied. You appreciate an awful lot of things about her. We're still kind of getting used to, oh, I'm sorry, young lady over there with the hat. It's a beautiful hat. We're still kind of just getting used to the halter, and she wants to get a little bit more frantic out here. But again, I think a really long-bodied, really maternal female, that's going to be a really nice project. We need to stouten her up off of her rear skeleton as she goes. Female that come next, again, very practical just in terms of her type and kind. One that probably needs to be stoutened up in terms of her rear skeleton, her feature, and her bone work in relation to those on the top side of this particular set. Same issues here with the heifer that's going to round out this particular class. We're just a little bit frailer in our bone work. We're a little shallower bodied. And then on top of that, I just want to be a little bit more feminine as we study here through the front side of her skeleton. Let's put our hands together on a really nice conclusion here in our Prospect Heifer Show.
Congratulations, your Class 4 winner is Madison Stratton from Appomattox. Second place, Levi McDaniel from Greene County. In third place, Sadie Wood from Rockingham. In fourth place, Chloe Gardner from Essex. And in fifth place, Chloe Gardner from Essex. We're now bringing back our class winners from each of our 4 Prospect Heifer classes to compete for the champion and reserve champion Prospect Heifer. From Class 1, our class winner was Natalie Helsley from Shenandoah County, heifer weighing 405. From Class 2, your winner was Tucker Talley from Augusta County, heifer weighing 505. From Class 3, Aubrey Herbers from Pittsylvania County, heifer weighing 625. And from Class 4, Madison Stratton from Appomattox County, heifer weighing 715. We're also bringing in our second place winners from each of those classes. From Class 1, your second place entry exhibited by Colt Thomas from Washington County, heifer weighing 478. From Class 2, Sadie Talley from Augusta County, heifer weighing 521. From Class 3, Caden Harris from Augusta County, heifer weighing 640. And from Class 4, Levi McDaniel from Greene County, heifer weighing 683. Again, this is going to be the final drive for your champion Prospect Heifer Show.
Some really high quality, beautiful heifers out here in our Prospect Heifer Show. Let's put our hands together for all of the kids that have participated here in the Prospect Show this morning, not just the 4 that are out here in our championship lineup. I think just really high quality pictures of maternal quality and productive character. There's so many things that I like about each of these females, and as we continue to think about the purpose and the intention of these gals, I think they're going to be great breeding pieces and really fun projects for you all throughout their lifespan. So my congratulations on getting them broke and getting them to this stage here so early in their show career. I know that halter breaking baby calves is not always the most fun or enjoyable part of this game, but y'all have done a fantastic job, and I appreciate just bringing the quality here to this prospect show. I'll go out and show you the two that are my favorite. One more time, let's congratulate each of these kids and their families.
Congratulations. Your champion prospect heifer is going to come out of Class 3, Aubrey Herbers from Pittsylvania County. Taking Aubrey's place in line will be the second place entry from Class 3, Caden Harris from Augusta County. Congratulations, your reserve champion prospect heifer comes out of Class 4, Madison Stratton from Appomattox. All right, let's give a round of applause again for all these exhibitors. As a recap, your grand champion prospect heifer was exhibited by Aubrey Herbers from Pittsylvania County, and your reserve champion prospect heifer exhibited by Madison Stratton from Appomattox. We're going to take just a couple-minute break to grab some pictures with our judge, and then we'll be back here in just a few minutes to start our commercial heifer show. All right, folks. We're about to start our commercial crossbred heifer show. We've got 6 classes of commercial crossbred heifers. Class number 1 entering the ring. We've got 3 entries. First into the ring is Leighton Reams from Culpeper County. Heifer weighing 762. Next is Ashley Hostetter from Rockbridge County. Heifer weighing 795. And third, we've got Adeline Cook from Culpeper. Heifer weighing 838. Again, this is class 1 of 6 of the commercial crossbred heifer show.
Nice class as we transition into our commercial heifer show. Red and white heifer, I think, is very maternal, very, very high quality. The young man does a nice job with her. One is, as you study her compared to the other heifers in this particular class, I just appreciate her smoothness and her femininity. It's a long-bodied, long-hipped female that's probably the most attractive and the most feminine through her front third. She's laid in neater in her chest and is the longer-necked female when compared to the others in this particular set. I like the body. I like the muscle shape. I like the density of foot size and bone of the smoky-colored heifer that comes out next. One that maybe isn't just as smooth patterned as our class winner. She wants to get just a touch plainer as you study her up through her front third in relation, but she brings an awful lot of nice breeding pieces here for this particular female. Baldy heifer that's going to round out the set, another high-performing, long-bodied female, one that's really sound in terms of her feet and legs, probably just a little bit plainer in relation to the heifers on the top side of this particular set. She reads a little bit shorter and plainer up through her neck and her chest, a little bit deeper up through that front shoulder as well. Let's put our hands together for a nice first class here in our commercial heifer show.
Congratulations, your Class 1 winner was Leighton Reams from Culpeper County. In second place, Ashley Hostetter from Rockbridge. And in third place, Adeline Cook from Culpeper. Entering the ring now, we've got our Class 2 commercial crossbred heifer class. 3 entries in this class. First into the ring is Ella Miller from Wythe County. Heifer weighing 920. Next into the ring, we've got Rachel Mignogna from Giles County, heifer weighing 952, followed by Kyle Prince from Appomattox County, heifer weighing 976. Again, Class 2 commercial crossbred heifers.
interesting class of females here. I think they all weigh just shy of 1,000 pounds. They're all in the 900-pound range. Maybe relatively closer here on the top pair, because I think that each of these heifers maybe have some structural changes that we'd like to fix ever so slightly. I feel the most comfortable just with the body shape and the femininity of the heifer that's going to win this particular set. Standing still, I like her pieces of balance and just the way that she transitions to a little softer forerib. I like the maternal sweep that she's got to her rear rib and flank a little better. And then the way that she handles her hip and her hind leg as she goes, I think is more comfortable. She strikes me, maybe it's some of the pellets here in the show ring or something, but it's like she's somewhat tender-footed as she travels around. I don't read it as a structural pastern problem, but she's just a little tender-footed as she goes, but I like a lot of things about her. Really muscular female that comes out next, tremendous in terms of her width and dimension on the top side of her skeleton. A female that transversely, I read her as just a little bit straighter off of both ends of her skeleton. She's a nickel more upright in the angle of her shoulder, and then as you study her rear skeleton, I need her to have a little bit more flex to her hock, set down a little bit more comfortably off of her rear pastern as she travels away, but no question there's an awful lot of mass and dimension and power in her. A sounder structured option comes out next, one that's really long-bodied. She's tremendously flexible as she gets out and moves, probably doesn't have the mass or the feature or just the body shape to move up any higher in this particular set, but a nice functional breeding piece for that particular young lady. Please put your hands together and congratulate Class 2.
Congratulations goes to Kyle Prince from Appomattox for winning Class 2. In second place, we have Ella Miller from Wythe County. And in third, Rachel Mignogna from Giles County. Next into the ring will be Class 3 of our commercial show. First up, we've got Caitlin Newton from Stafford County, heifer weighing 1025. Caitlin's followed by Grant Grubb from Wythe County, heifer weighing 1053. Next is Charity Delosier from Pittsylvania County, heifer also weighing 1053. Charity is followed by Leslie Linton from Stafford County, heifer weighing 1111. And finally, Sadie Wood from Rockingham County, heifer weighing 1133. Again, this is commercial crossbred heifer Class 3. Heifers ranging in weight from 1025 to 1133.
Really nice top pair of females out here, and I think to me the difference between the two, the heifer that wins this particular class just strikes me as a little bit more maternal just in terms of her type and kind, particularly standing still. I think she reads with the pieces of balance and femininity that we're looking for. She's an incredibly attractive fronted female who angles a little better in the way that she's laid in terms of her shoulder. I like her off of her hip. Maybe one that as I could relax her there off of her rear pastern, I would certainly set her down a little bit more comfortably. And that's probably where the heifer that's in second has the advantage. She's no question the bigger footed, stouter boned female that sets down more comfortably in terms of her hock on her rear pastern. Maybe one for me that's not quite as fresh in terms of her body condition. She's pushing a little bit more cover at this stage of the game than I'd like to see, but there's no question that she's a smooth-bodied female that reads with a lot of dimension. She's stout-footed, and you certainly have to appreciate just the bone and the framework that she comes with. Red roan heifer that comes out next. Again, I think a long-bodied female that's got some body and that easy feeding look. Probably needs to be stoutened up as you study her from hooks to pins and the way that she carries that down to the base of her stifle to move up higher with the two heifers on the top side of this particular set. The two black females that are going to round out this class, again, I think nice and practical breeding pieces. Maybe not the balance pieces here for the show ring. Need to be stoutened up just in terms of their feature and their bone work. But again, nice breeding projects for these particular individuals. Please put your hands together and congratulations.
Congratulations goes to Charity Delosier from Pittsylvania County for winning Class 3. In second place, we have Sadie Wood from Rockingham County. In third place, Caitlin Newton from Stafford. In fourth, Grant Grubb from Wythe. And in fifth place, Leslie Linton from Stafford. All right, we're moving right along, moving right into class number 4 of the Commercial Crossbred Heifer Show. We've got 4 entries in this class. Leading off is Alyssa Kopp from Washington County, heifer weighing 1161. Next is Madison Stratton from Appomattox County, heifer weighing 1164. Madison's followed by Clara Grubb from Wythe County, heifer weighing 1198. And finally, Kyle Prince from Appomattox, heifer weighing 1206. Again, this is class number 4 of 6 of our Commercial Crossbred Heifer Show. Heifers ranging in weight from 1161 to 1206. Again, as a reminder, we've got 6 classes of commercial crossbred heifers. At the conclusion of our commercial crossbred heifer show, we'll take pictures for just a couple of minutes and then roll right into our AOB heifer show.
think just a true picture of quality here in our class winner, one that just offers so much maternal value and so much maternal kind of female character in her. I think for a commercial female, she combines an awful lot of really good things. I think what I truly appreciate the most about her is not just she's so incredibly attractive through her shoulder and her just femininity through her center body. That's a really good footed female that is so sound in terms of her feet and legs. I love the way that she handles her hip and rear skeleton as she gets out. I think a really, really nice breeding piece for this young lady. As we move on from there, I think some females that maybe each have some different pieces of balance that we could correct ever so slightly. I think the young lady's heifer that comes next is probably just the most genuine in terms of her body shape and her fleshing ability. She probably needs a shot more dimension and feature to move up higher in this particular set. But again, a nice breeding piece for that young lady. The heifer that we move on next to, I think in terms of true muscularity, I think she's really, really nice. She reads with some shape and some dimension down her top. She's good in terms of her rib and her body shape, and she's got some genuine dimension out of her pins. One, in terms of her center body, I just need to read her a little softer. And then two, we could change the angle of her hind leg ever so slightly. I think skeletal correctness is what gets the heifer that's going to round out this set just in trouble a little bit. She reads to me to be too sharp there in the angle of her hind leg, a little too tender off of her rear skeleton as well. Really, really nice class winner here in this particular group. Let's show our congratulations to these kids and their families.
Congratulations goes to Madison Stratton from Appomattox County for exhibiting the Class 4 winner. In second place, Alyssa Kopp from Washington County. In third place, Clara Grubb from Wythe. And in fourth place, Kyle Prince from Appomattox. We're moving next into Class 5 of the Commercial Crossbred Heifer Show. Leading off is Naomi Delosier from Pittsylvania County, heifer weighing 1236. Next is Jess Johnson from Giles County, heifer weighing 1248. Jess is followed by Hayden Rubush from Augusta County, heifer weighing 1303. Hayden's followed by Audrey Cook from Culpeper, heifer weighing 1304. And finally, Bailey Wright from Shenandoah County, heifer weighing 1308. Again, Class 5 commercial crossbred heifers. Again, we do want to recognize our beef show sponsors for this weekend, helping make this entire weekend and show possible. We want to thank the Clark family, Tim, Gretchen, Gordon, and Suter Clark, for sponsoring the showmanship banners. MC Livestock, the McCall family, for sponsoring the showmanship rally towels. Point Pleasant Farm, Kurt and Jennifer Friedel, for being showmanship champion sponsors. We also want to thank Montgomery Farm Bureau, Rockingham Feeder Cattle Association, Spring Lake Livestock, the Heifers family, Sheer Point Farm, Nick and Courtney Belcher, Country Crossroads Vet Service, Dr. Francis Grubb, Virginia Cattlemen's Association, Blue Ridge Cattlemen's Association, the Blue Ridge Animal Clinic, Glen Mary Farms, the Nixon family, Springwood Livestock Management Services, Dr. Andy Meadows, Woods Farms, the Woods family, Virginia Simmental and Junior Simmental Associations, Virginia Junior Angus Association, Virginia Junior Hereford Association, and 2K Farm, the Talbert family. We also want to thank our partners for this weekend's event, the State Fair of Virginia, Virginia Farm Bureau, Virginia Cooperative Extension, Virginia Youth Animal Science Program, Virginia Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services, Farm Credit of the Virginias, First Bank and Trust, and the Bank of Botetourt Ag Lending Division. Yep, give a round of applause for our partners and sponsors.
Some really powerful dimensional females that rise to the top of this particular class. And to me, I think it's close here on the top pair, but the female that's going to go ahead and rise to the top of this particular class, I think is just slightly more feminine in the way that she carries all of her mass and dimension. She reads, to me, to be just a lot more comfortable off of her rear skeleton. She handles from her hooks to her pins a lot more comfortably as she gets out and goes, and then just the flexibility to her rear skeleton, I think, is very good. That's a nice place to start here in this particular class. No question, so much power and dimension, big-footed, stout bone, very rugged and dimensional female that comes out next. One for me, though, maybe not tie it all together in quite as maternal of a package as our class winner. As we get out on the move, she wants to read just a little bit shorter hip. She drops her pins and gets somewhat tighter and less comfortable off of her rear skeleton as she goes, but just so much mass and power and breeding value in that particular female. As we move on into third, young lady brings a nice black heifer to us. She's really high performing and long bodied. She's really extended in terms of her kind. She's a sound structured female that's really comfortable as she gets out and goes. One that as you get behind her, she's flatter than the two heifers on the top side of this particular set in terms of how you read her from hooks to pins. And then two, pushing just a little extra condition at this stage of the game. Same can be said for the heifer that comes out next. She's really bold bodied, but one that again is pushing some extra condition as you read her there up through her chest, wants to get just a little bit deeper and more opened up there. Same can be said as you study her, she goes away from you back through her rear flank, needs to go away on a stouter set of feet and wheels off of her rear skeleton. Heifer that's going to round out this particular class, again, very practical just in terms of her performance and her length of body. She's one that's flexible on the go, but needs to be reconstructed ever so slightly from a balance perspective. We're a little deeper up through our front third in relation to our rear skeleton. But again, a really nice class here in our commercial heifer show. Let's put our hands together for these exhibitors.
Congratulations. Your Class 5 winner was Naomi Delosier from Pittsylvania County. In second place, Audrey Cook from Culpeper. In third, Hayden Rubush from Augusta County. In fourth, Bailey Wright from Shenandoah County. And in fifth place, Jess Johnson from Giles County. Entering the ring now is our final class of commercial crossbred heifers, Class 6. First into the ring, we've got Taylor Mitchell from Essex County, heifer weighing 1320. Next is Layla Grimm from Augusta County, heifer weighing 1377. And finally, our third entry in the class is Abigail Miller from Wythe County, heifer weighing 1418. Again, this is Class 6, our final class of the commercial crossbred heifer show. Following this class, we'll be bringing back all of our class winners to compete for the champion and reserve champion commercial crossbred heifer.
Really nice conclusion here to our commercial heifer show. Really bold-bodied and dimensional female that's going to win this particular class, and one that I think puts all of that together in a relatively feminine package, particularly on the standstill. Tremendously long-bodied. She's smooth in terms of her build and just her femininity, and I think that's a really nice place to start. Certainly don't want to take anything away from the heifer that's in second, just in terms of her center body and dimension. I think she's tremendously good there. Maybe one that's not quite as smooth or as eye-appealing from the side, just in terms of her pieces of femininity, but she's very functional and she's very practical in terms of her build. It's a nice project for that young lady. Female that's going to round out this particular set, again, I think she's practical. She's long-bodied. I like her rib shape and her dimension. Again, just some pieces of balance that we need to tweak ever so slightly, and I like to read her just a little deeper back through her rear flank, stouten her up just in terms of feature and bone work as she travels away from you. Let's put our hands together for all of our commercial exhibitors. I'm excited to get these class winners back out here for our championship drive.
Congratulations, your class winner was Layla Grimm from Augusta County. In second place, we had Abigail Miller from Wythe County. And in third place, Taylor Mitchell from Essex. We're now going to be bringing back all of our class winners from each of the 6 classes of commercial crossbred heifers. No seconds. Okay. And we're just going to bring in the first place entries. We'll have the seconds out here on hold. All right, entering the ring first, we've got our Class 1 winner, Leighton Reams from Culpeper County, heifer weighing 762. From Class 2, our winner was Kyle Prince from Appomattox County, heifer weighing 976. From Class 3, we have Charity Delosier from Pittsylvania County, heifer weighing 1053. From Class 4, we have Madison Stratton from Appomattox County, heifer weighing 1164. From Class 5, we have Naomi Delosier from Pennsylvania County, heifer weighing 1236. And from Class 6, we have Layla Grimm from Augusta County, heifer weighing 1377. Again, this is your final drive for your commercial crossbred heifer show. We would at this time like to recognize again and thank our judge, Christy Gable from North Central Colorado. Christy went to school at Butler and K-State, where she competed on the livestock judging team and majored in animal science. She went to work for Zoetis after K-State in the animal health realm for a number of years before returning to her family's farm and feedlot, Magnum Feed Yard in Colorado, where they feed and market almost 80,000 head of fed cattle per year, in addition to having a 500 head commercial cow-calf operation. And we're very fortunate to have Christy. Hopefully you all have been ringside and been able to hear several of her comments, but she's just been a great advocate for our industry and has really done an awesome job working with our youth this weekend. So let's give Christy a round of applause. We also want to recognize Mandy Rooker with Mandy Rooker Photography. Her and her team have been out here capturing all the shots from this weekend. And we also want to thank Showbarn Flicks for live streaming the event so that those of you who are watching this at home or on the farm are able to still be with us, and we appreciate y'all joining in. Again, just as a matter of housekeeping, after we select our champion and reserve champion crossbred heifer, we will have pictures, and then that'll just take a few minutes, and then we'll roll right into our champion, or right into our AOB heifer show. And then 30 minutes after the AOB heifer show, we will do the costume and lead line competition here in the beef ring.
What a tremendously high quality commercial heifer show. If those of you would, please put our hands together for all of the kids, not just here in the Grand Drive, but all of the folks that brought their commercial heifers here to the state fair. I think it's been incredibly deep just in terms of the quality. And really, I mean, where I come from, we have way more commercial cattle than we do registered cattle, so I'm just very impressed with the quality of the females that you guys have brought in here to the state fair, and it's been very, very enjoyable to sort. Obviously, we have some differences just in terms and type and kind out here, but I really tried to stay true to just fundamentals of structural quality and skeletal build and some longevity in these females, and I think all of them here in this particular lineup do a great job of representing some of those fundamental pieces here of quality and structure. So again, I'm not going to talk for too much longer. I know some of these kids have been through the ring multiple times and it's getting plenty warm here in the afternoon. But thank you for the opportunity here to sort through your commercial heifers, and I'll go show you the two that are my favorite. One more big round of applause for all of these kids, please.
Congratulations, your champion commercial crossbred heifer goes to your Class 4 winner, Madison Stratton from Appomattox. Entering the ring now, we have our second place entry from Class 4, Alyssa Kopp from Washington County, heifer weighing 1161. All right. Your reserve champion commercial crossbred heifer goes to Class 6 winner, Layla Grimm from Augusta County. Congratulations, Layla. That wraps up our commercial crossbred heifer show. We'll be back here in just a couple of minutes once pictures are taken with the AOB heifer show. Again, congratulations goes to your grand champion commercial crossbred heifer exhibited by Madison Stratton from Appomattox, and your reserve champion commercial crossbred heifer exhibited by Layla Grimm from Augusta County. All right, folks. We're about to get started with our AOB Heifer Show here at the State Fair. The first class that we have is going to be late junior heifer calves, and we've got a single entry in this class exhibited by Carly Thomas. It's going to be a maintainer heifer, born on March the 22nd of this year, earlier this year. Again, this is Class 1 late junior heifer calves to start off our AOB Heifer Show.
I know that we'll have a handful of single entries here in our AOB show, but this is a really nice maintainer heifer calf. I think that she reads with a tremendous look of quality, so youthful and attractive up through her front third, the way that her neck ties into the top side of her shoulder, and just how attractively she's put together there. And then from her front end back, she really reads with all of the pieces of quality in terms of opening up into a bold forerib and really carrying that width and dimension in terms of her center body all the way back. Really, really nice project for this young lady. Let's put our hands together and congratulate her on this nice heifer calf.
Congratulations goes to Carly Thomas for winning the Class 1 late junior heifer calves. And Carly will also be the champion AOB junior heifer calf. So congratulations on that, Carly. We're going to move into our senior heifer division. And we've got one class. We've got, and this is going to be Class 3 early senior heifer calves. We've got two entries in this class. Both are going to be limb flex heifers. First into the ring, we're going to have Holly Chambers. Her heifer born on September the 2nd of last year. And Holly's heifer is going to be followed by Jasper Tomlin, heifer born on September the 1st of last year. Again, both limb flex heifers. This is Class 3 early senior heifer calves.
very interesting pair, two females that are very, very different in their type and kind, and I think it makes it challenging. And honestly, if you wanted to swap this pair, I probably wouldn't argue too hard, but I'm going to go ahead and give the young man and his heifer the nod. If you could clean her up there through her chest and her front third, I think it would change her tremendously from a balance perspective, but I still rely on the fact that she's the one that's the boldest bodied. She remains the most genuine in terms of her natural dimension all the way through. I like the way that she's longer and leveler in terms of her hip and her hind leg. It's a nice place to start. This heifer, it took her a while to not fight the halter and to really get out and move comfortably, and I think when she does that, she puts herself together in a very presentable and high quality package. There's no question that she's more feminine in the way that she's built up through her front third, but to me she's a female that's just too uncomfortable as she gets out and goes. I really want to see her with more dimension through her hip and off of her rear skeleton. She really wants to drop those pins, but my congratulations to those two exhibitors on a job well done.
Congratulations goes to Jasper Tomlin for winning Class 3. And Jasper will also be the champion AOB Senior Heifer Calf. And congratulations to Holly Chambers for her second place entry. And Holly will have the reserve champion AOB Senior Heifer Calf. We're going to move now into our intermediate division, where we've got two classes of intermediate yearling heifers. Class 4 is late intermediate yearling heifers, and we've got two entries in this class. First into the ring, we have John Hale exhibiting a Charolais heifer. And John's going to be followed by Sawyer Tomlin exhibiting a Linflex heifer. Again, this is going to be Class 4 late intermediate yearling heifers.
Really nice pair of females here, and I like the Linflex heifer to go ahead and win this class, just in terms of fleshing ability and moderation and just the easy keeping look. I think that she's a really nice place to start. She is more feminine in the way that she's built through her front third, and then I really like how much smoother and bolder she is there through her center body and out of her hip and hind leg. No question the Charolais female gives the nod just in terms of performance and growth, the things that you would expect out of a Charolais female. I do think that she's probably bigger footed, and I like the way that she handles her hock off of her rear skeleton when she goes. For me, she's just a female that needs to be softer just in terms of her body. She wants to get a little bit plainer there right through her chest, and then a little tighter as she reads right there through the base of her full rib. Really nice pair of females there. Let's put our hands together for those kids doing a nice job.
Congratulations goes to Sawyer Tomlin for winning class number 4. And in second place, we have John Hale with his Charolais heifer. We're now going to move into class 5, early intermediate yearling heifers, and we've got a single entry for this class. We have Madison Hinkler exhibiting a Shorthorn Plus heifer. Following this class, we will bring back our class winner from class 4 to select our champion and reserve champion AOB intermediate yearling heifer.
Really nice single entry heifer that could certainly stand some more competition. I'm assuming she's probably a shorthorn or a shorthorn plus female. One that's really long-bodied, and you have to appreciate her length of skeleton, particularly her length of hip. She's sound-structured, and she gets around really flexibly. Could she be stouter and just more opened up underneath? Absolutely. As you study her, she wants to get just a little bit flatter there to the base of her full rib. Give her a shot more width and natural dimension all the way through. Still a really nice shorthorn heifer here for this young lady. Nice job. Congratulations to her.
Congratulations to Madison Hinkler for winning Class 5, the early intermediate yearling heifers, with her Shorthorn Plus heifer. We're now going to bring back our 2 class winners from Class 4 and Class 5 to select our champion and reserve champion AOB intermediate yearling heifer. From Class 4, our class winner was Sawyer Tomlin, exhibiting his limb flex heifer that was born on July 25th of last year. And from Class 5, we have Madison Hinkler exhibiting her Shorthorn Plus heifer born June 27th of 2022. Also in the ring, we've got our second place entry from Class 4, John Hale, with his Charolais heifer born August 15th of 2022. Again, this is your champion AOB intermediate yearling and yearling heifer drive. Again, we want to give a special thank you to our sponsor, Woods Farms, the Woods family, for sponsoring the AOB Breeding Heifer Awards. Let's give the Woods Farms a round of applause.
Again, not a ton of numbers here in our AOB heifer division, but I think really nice quality here that's represented. Obviously, 3 different breeds of females, and they each bring some differences and represent some strengths that you would associate with each of those breeds. We've got a really nice limb flex heifer, a Shorthorn Plus heifer, and a Charolais heifer, and I think that they all probably bring forth to the table the strengths of each of those breeds. The limb flex heifer that won our first class, again, just in terms of body shape and dimension and just being incredibly maternal as you study her, I think she has the advantage just in terms of fleshing ability. She appears to be the one that's probably going to be easier to keep, lower input female. Plus, she gives you the picture of just quality and femininity as you study her. The Shorthorn Plus female, while she is shallower bodied, she appears to be really long and extended. That's a sound structured female that's very practical for the young lady. And then again, as we talked in class, the second place here, Charolais heifer behind our limb flex, is one that again you come to appreciate just the growth and the performance that you expect from the Charolais breed. She's really extended. She's really muscular. You appreciate all of those fundamental things. I'll show you the 2 that I appreciate the most out here in this particular division, but let's put our hands together for all of these exhibitors.
Congratulations goes to Sawyer Tomlin for exhibiting the champion AOB intermediate yearling heifer. And congratulations goes to John Hale for exhibiting the reserve champion AOB intermediate yearling heifer. We're now going to move into our yearling heifer division, junior yearling heifer division. We've got 2 classes of late junior we've got two classes of junior yearling heifers. Our first class is going to be Class 6 of late junior yearlings. We've got 5 entries in this class. First into the ring is going to be Colt Thomas, exhibiting a maintainer heifer born April the 15th of last year. Next is Maddie Evers, exhibiting a Charlet heifer, born April 12th of last year. Following Maddie, we've got Wyatt Haney, exhibiting a Red Angus heifer, born on March the 16th of last year. Next is Brooklyn Clark, exhibiting a Kenania heifer that was born March the 3rd, 2022. And Brooklyn's going to be followed by Sawyer Wilkins, who's also exhibiting a key heifer born March the 1st of 2022. Again, this is going to be Class 6 late junior yearling heifers. Once again, we do want to recognize and thank our sponsors, in particular the Woods Farms, the Woods family, for sponsoring the AOB Breeding Heifer Awards. We also want to thank our beef show sponsors for the weekend, Montgomery Farm Bureau, Rockingham Feeder Cattle Association, Spring Lake Livestock, the Heifers family, Shearpoint Farm, Nick and Courtney Belcher, Country Crossroads Vet Service, Dr. Francis Grubb, Virginia Cattlemen's Association, Blue Ridge Cattlemen's Association, Blue Ridge Animal Clinic, Glen Mary Farms, the Nixon family, Springwood Livestock Management Services, Dr. Andy Meadows, the Virginia Simmental and Junior Simmental Associations, Virginia Junior Angus Association, Virginia Junior Hereford Association, and 2K Farm, the Talbert family. Yep, let's give our sponsors a round of applause.
Well, no question, the deepest just in terms of numbers, but also just in terms of quality. There's 5 really, really nice heifers in here, and I think it's close here, quite honestly, through the top 4, and just really high-quality females that each are different and bring together some different strengths. But there's no question the place that we need to start is in this Charolais female. I mean, what a tremendously attractive, very, very maternal, just beautiful breeding piece that this young lady brings to us. I appreciate just how freshly presented she is. She's so good just in terms of her genuine body shape, great in terms of her muscularity. She's beautiful in the way that she's presented, so sound and functional in terms of her feet and legs, while still having just so much mass and dimension, but it's in such a feminine and maternal package. She's really nice. You appreciate, again, the additional growth and performance here of the heifer that comes next, one that's just so incredibly long-bodied. She's so long-hipped. I appreciate her flexibility off of her rear skeleton. Maybe not as fresh in terms of her body condition. As you study her, she brings just a little bit more chest here to the table, and that throws her off ever so slightly from a balance perspective, especially as you study her back into her flank. But so much quality and just maternal value in that particular female. That's a really nice top pair of females here in this set. The third place heifer, again, in her own right, she brings tremendous breeding value, especially if you're trying to make some show steers potentially. She reads just with so much muscularity and dimension. She's bold-bodied. She reads with so much power and shape. One for me, though, that flirts with that line of just, is she maternal enough? Particularly as I study her up through her shoulder, she needs to be laid back and relaxed in the angle of her shoulder. She's plenty upright in terms of her toes and the way that she's made and the angle there to her shoulder and knee. I want to relax her there and just have her be more comfortable. Same could be said off of her rear skeleton. She needs to set down just a little bit more comfortably off of her rear skeleton. But again, just in terms of muscularity and dimension, she looks like a little show steer producer, and that's exciting for that young man. You could very easily swap 3 and 4, and I certainly wouldn't blame you if you did. Again, I like the softness and just the flexibility of the female that's in 4. Unfortunately, as I read her, she's just a little bit frailer in relation to the heifer that's in 3. Maybe doesn't sit down with as much feature at the surface, but again, she's smoother, she's easier feeding, she just reads a little bit more maternal just in terms of her kind. Young man here that's going to round out the set with the Red Angus runs into an incredibly tough class out here. There's so much value here in this Red Angus individual. She's long-bodied, she's high-performing, she's very sound structured. We can smooth her up just in terms of femininity and balance, particularly there through her chest and her navel, make her just a little bit deeper back through her rear skeleton. Really nice class of females here. Let's put our hands together for those exhibitors.
Congratulations. Your class winner of Class 6 goes to Maddie Evers, exhibiting her Charolais heifer. In second place, we have Brooklyn Clark, exhibiting her Key heifer. In third place, Sawyer Wilkins, also exhibiting a Key heifer. In fourth place, Colt Thomas, exhibiting a Maintainer heifer. And in fifth place, Wyatt Haney, exhibiting a Red Angus heifer. We're now going to move into our AOB Class 7 early junior yearling heifers, and we've got 4 entries in this class. First into the ring is Ryland Scott, exhibiting a Shorthorn heifer born February 25th of last year. Next is Sally Williams, exhibiting a Shorthorn Plus heifer born January 27th of last year. Sally is followed by Isaac Heifers, exhibiting a Key Angus heifer born January the 8th of 2022. And finally, we have Eden Molden, exhibiting a Shorthorn Plus heifer born January the 1st of last year. Again, 4 entries in Class 7 early junior yearling heifers. Following this class, we'll bring our class winner back from Class 6 to select our champion AOB junior yearling heifer. Couple of housekeeping items. Following the conclusion of the AOB heifer show, we will do lead line and costume. It'll be here in the beef show ring approximately 30 minutes after the conclusion of the AOB heifer show. So again, lead line and costume will be up here 30 minutes following the conclusion of the AOB heifer show. A reminder, you cannot take animals out of the barn or leave the fairgrounds until the conclusion of the sale of champions. At the conclusion of the sale of champions, early release will be available for those who do not show on Sunday. And as a reminder, any livestock on the grounds at 7 a.m. Sunday morning must remain until the 2 o'clock afternoon release time. We will start our registered breeding cattle show at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, starting with Angus, Simmental, Hereford, and Percentage Simmental.
Another really nice class here in this division. I like the Blue Roan Shorthorn Plus Heifer to go ahead and win this particular class. Again, as we've talked all day throughout the female show, just in terms of balance and skeletal quality and maternal function, I think that she puts an awful lot of really high quality pieces together. Very beautiful just in the way that she's presented. I love just how bold bodied she is and how much dimension she truly has, but she really ties it all together in a very feminine and attractive package. Maybe a higher performing, longer and more extended female that comes out next maybe doesn't have the same pieces just in terms of mass and power, and then two, want to stouten her up ever so slightly off of her rear skeleton, but that's a very practical, high quality breeding piece for this young man. Two Shorthorn influenced heifers that are going to round out the set. I'm going to give the one that's in third, I think, the additional nod just in terms of performance and length of body. She sounds structured and very practical. Young man's female is the same, and she's probably bigger footed and more dimensional from a bone perspective, but one that's a little too shallow bodied and a little too harsh for me. Reads to be just a little bit harder doing just in terms of her kind as a mature breeding piece. Let's put our hands together and congratulate each of those exhibitors.
Congratulations goes to your Class 7 winner, Eden Molden, exhibiting her Shorthorn Plus heifer. In second place, we have Isaac Heifers. In third, Sally Williams. And in fourth, Ryland Scott. We're now going to bring back our Class 6 and Class 7 class winners to compete for the champion AOB Junior Yearling Heifer. From Class 6, your class winner was Maddie Evers, exhibiting her Shorthorn heifer, born April the 12th of 2022. And from Class 7, bringing back Eden Molden, exhibiting her Shorthorn Plus heifer, born January 1st of last year. We also have our second place entries from both classes in the ring. Your second place from the late junior yearling class is exhibited by Brooklyn Clark, a key heifer born in March the 3rd of 2022. And from your early junior yearling heifer class, Isaac Heifers, exhibiting a key Angus heifer born January the 8th of 2022. Again, this is your selection for your champion AOB junior yearling heifer.
really deep and high quality division here, and I think all 4 of these heifers here in this particular set are very deserving of being out here and recognized as breeding pieces of high value for all of these exhibitors. To me, I think there's one that goes ahead and wins this division relatively handily for me. Just such a beautiful picture of quality and maternal value. I think from there it becomes a little bit more challenging to sort between 2 females for me. Again, as I've talked the last 2 days, I'm not sure if you guys have been keeping track or following along, but I like cattle that get better when they get out on the move, and I actually think that's where the pair that I'm going to sort between for reserve, where they're separated. I think one of them remains a little bit more comfortable off of her rear skeleton, particularly the way that she manages her hip and her levelness from hooks to pins, the flexibility in her hock, and the squareness that she keeps in terms of her hind leg function as she goes. And the other one wants to get just a little bit shorter, maybe stepping outside of her skeleton ever so slightly off of her rear too. But again, I think each of these exhibitors deserve a very big round of applause for bringing us some very high quality females here in this particular division.
All right, congratulations goes to Maddie Evers for exhibiting the champion AOB Junior Yearling Heifer. And congratulations goes to Brooklyn Clark for exhibiting the reserve champion AOB Junior Yearling Heifer. All right, we're moving right into our senior yearling heifer division. We've got 2 classes, single entry in both classes. So Class 8 is going to be single entry Kate Ramsey, exhibiting a Red Angus late senior yearling heifer, born November the 5th of 2021. Again, single entry late senior yearling heifer exhibited by Kate Ramsey, Red Angus heifer born November the 5th, 2021.
Beautiful single entry here, and one that you certainly have to appreciate. This is the most productive one that we've seen so far. You could tell that this female is closer to calving than anything, obviously, that we've had, and that's appropriate given her age. But just beautiful in terms of her femininity and her freshness from her shoulder forward. That's a big-bodied heifer that's got a nice, obviously healthy growing calf inside of her. She maintains just her fleshing ease and really starting to develop a high-quality udder there. Really nice breeding piece for this young lady. Let's put our hands together for the single entry.
Congratulations goes to Kate Ramsey for winning Class 8 late senior yearling heifers. We're now going to move into Class 9 early senior yearling heifers. We've got a single entry in this class by Clara Elsey, exhibiting a shorthorn heifer born September the 2nd of 2021.
Another single entry that I think is a really nice balance, really eye-appealing and feminine female, particularly from her shoulder forward. She is so incredibly long-necked, and her neck ties in really high and smoothly on the top side of her shoulder. From there, she transitions back into a nice full rib shape, and she's really long and level down her top. Maybe on the bottom side of maybe underneath or underline, we could rebalance her ever so slightly, maybe give her a shot of boldness and dimension right there through her forerib, carry that added depth of body back through her flank. Again, that's getting really nitpicky on a nice high-quality heifer. Let's give this single entry a nice round of applause.
Congratulations goes to Clara Elsey for winning Class 9 early senior yearling heifers. We're now going to have our Class 8 winner join Clara in the ring to compete for our champion AOB senior yearling heifer. Again, we've got two class winners in the ring now. Our Class 8 class winner, Kate Ramsey, exhibiting a Red Angus heifer, and our early senior yearling heifer champion, Clara Elsey, exhibiting a shorthorn heifer.
another very competitive division that, although it's not deep in numbers, it's sure very nice in terms of quality. Two females here that bring a lot of breeding value to the forefront, and certainly have to appreciate their production and just the job that each of these ladies have done with their projects. To me, I think there's one female out here that strikes me a little bit more as a cow prospect. Obviously, she's further along in terms of her gestation, and that's expected given her age, but she's also the longer-bodied female that just reads more maternal in terms of her center body and just smoother and sounder structured all the way through. The Red Angus will be our champion here in this particular division, and the Shorthorn female will be our reserve. Let's congratulate each of these ladies on a really nice job.
Congratulations goes to Kate Ramsey, exhibiting the champion AOB Senior Yearling Heifer. And congratulations to Clara Elsey for exhibiting the reserve champion AOB Senior Yearling Heifer. We're now going to bring back all of our division winners to come back and compete for the grand champion and reserve grand champion AOB Heifer. So we've got our first into the ring, our champion AOB Junior Heifer Calf, Carly Thomas, who's exhibiting a maintainer heifer. Next will be our champion AOB Senior Heifer Calf champion, exhibited by Jasper Tomlin, a limb flex heifer. Following Jasper will be our champion AOB Intermediate Yearling Heifer, exhibited by Sawyer Tomlin, also a limb flex heifer. Next will be our champion AOB Junior Yearling Heifer, exhibited by Maddie Evers, a Charolais heifer. And finally, we'll have our champion AOB Senior Yearling Heifer, exhibited by Kate Ramsey, a Red Angus heifer. Again, this is to compete for our grand champion AOB heifer. Following the selection of our champion and reserve champion AOB heifer, we will have a bred and owned class. And then that'll wrap things up for us here today. Again, we do want to recognize and thank our judge, Christy Gable, for being here with us from North Central Colorado. Christy went to Butler and K-State, where she competed on the livestock judging teams and majored in animal science. She's had a long career in the industry. She worked for Zoetis, working in the animal health side of things before returning to her family's feedlot in Colorado, Magnum Feed Yard, where they feed out close to 80,000 head of fed cattle per year, and also have a 500 head commercial cow-calf operation. And so we really appreciate Christy being here with us and sorting through all our stock this weekend. Let's give Christy a round of applause. Again, we also do want to give a special shout out to Woods Farms, the Woods family, for sponsoring our AOB Breeding Heifer Awards. Let's give Woods Farms a round of applause as well.
What a wonderful final drive out here for our AOB Heifer Show. Those of you around the ring, if you would, please put your hands together and congratulate not only each of these class winners, but all of the participants that we had here in our AOB Heifer Show. It's been a really enjoyable afternoon here at the State Fair. Obviously, we had some really high-quality prospect shows, and obviously have concluded here with some commercial heifers and some AOB heifers. I want to take an opportunity just to say thank you again for the opportunity to be here. It's been an awful lot of fun again today to work through the kids and their females. I'm excited for tomorrow for the remainder of our heifer show and would encourage each of you to come back and be supportive of each of these kids, and we'll get our division and breed winners back out for a Supreme Heifer selection tomorrow afternoon. That will be just filled with quality, I'm certain. Thank you to the ring help once again today. You guys have been flawless and really made my job incredibly simple. Thank you so much for reading my bio so eloquently. I swear every time you say it, I get cooler, and I don't know how that happens because in reality it's not. But thank you guys very much. Again, for the opportunity and for everybody who's made this show run so seamlessly. To all of the sponsors, I know that that they've announced you and said thank you, but I want to say a special thank you as well. I know that I was fortunate enough to grow up in the same industry back in Colorado, and the opportunities that are presented here for these kids just would not be possible without your support as sponsors, putting together whether it's financial support or award support. I know there's a sale of champions that happens tonight, but all of us, I think, want to echo just our sincere gratitude for everybody who's a sponsor for these events, and really the opportunities that you create would not be possible without that. So if we could just one more time, let's say thank you to the show staff and the sponsors that put on such great opportunities for each of these kids. Certainly not going to go back and talk through each of these heifers again. I think the quality speaks for themselves. I'll show you the two that are my favorites, and we'll wrap up here this afternoon. One more round of applause for the kids, and we'll be done. Thank you.
All right, congratulations. Your grand champion AOB heifer goes to Maddie Evers, exhibiting her junior yearling heifer, Charlet heifer. And now, falling into line will be Brooklyn Clark, who had the reserve champion AOB junior yearling heifer. It's a key heifer that was born January the 8th, that was born March the 3rd of 2022. All right, and congratulations goes to Brooklyn Clark for exhibiting the reserve champion AOB heifer. All right, let's give these exhibitors one more round of applause. We are now going to move into our bred and owned AOB heifer class. We've got 2 entries in this class, and again, these are heifers that were born, raised by the exhibitors, and so they've been with them every step of the way. First into the ring, we've got Sally Williams exhibiting her Shorthorn Plus heifer, born January the 27th of 2022. And Sally would be followed by Isaac Heifers exhibiting a key Angus heifer born January the 8th of 2022. Again, this is our bred and owned AOB heifer show. 2 entries in this class. Again, as a reminder, lead line and costume will start roughly around 4 o'clock, 30 minutes. We will take a 30-minute break after this class prior to that, but the lead line and costume contest will be up here at the beef ring at 4 o'clock.
Very nice Bred and Own show, and my personal congratulations to each of these exhibitors. I think the Bred and Own program is just it's just a testament to the hard work and the dedication that really goes into livestock production, and I think that there's really no better teaching lesson or activity for these kids to be involved with. But I tell you what, if calving cows and making sure that healthy babies hit the ground in the wintertime here in Virginia is anything like Colorado, it certainly is a lot of sleepless nights and a lot of cold weather and just a lot of dedication and hard work. So congratulations to each of you two exhibitors on wonderful projects. To me, I think the black heifer that wins this particular class just reads a little softer and easier keeping, particularly through her center body. I think that she's got the advantage in terms of rear skeleton structure as you study her in terms of her hip and hind leg. Two really high quality projects, so let's put our hands together for each of these kids in the Bred and Own division.
Congratulations. Your class winner is going to be Isaac Heifers, exhibiting his Key Angus heifer. And in second place in the Bred and Own division is Sally Williams, exhibiting her Shorthorn Plus heifer. Again, thank you to everyone for coming out. Thank you, exhibitors. Thank you, staff, volunteers, family. We appreciate so much the support. We will start lead line and costume contest in 30 minutes. Again, as a reminder, we do have the Sale of Champions tonight. You cannot take animals out of the barn